Salvete discipuli, quid agitis, optime, pessime. Are you great? Are you terrible? Or somewhere in the middle. We have male, satis bene, bene, optime. Okay, hodie sum optime. I am doing really well today. Okay, so I would like to first review today before I get into our new subject. So one of the exercises that you were to have just completed is exercise 19. Remember, that talks about the indirect objects. So a couple of things about this. Remember, with an indirect object, you're going to have, at least right now, a verb of giving. So if you have dedit or dederant in this particular book, you're looking for an indirect object. So when you underline that verb, go ahead and look for an indirect object. So why don't we go ahead and do number 6? Okay, so this is exercise 19, number 6, and of course I'm going to write it on the board. There we go. Christiani gloriam Mariae et filio Mariae. Again, that's interesting. And then we have dederant. Okay, can you see all that? Perfect. Okay, so now remember, here's how I'm going to start. I'm going to start by marking this sentence, and I'm going to underline the verb, okay? And I notice that the verb ends in NT, so I'm looking for a plural subject. I usually look at the first word, okay? And I say, oh yeah, it does end in a nominative plural, right? If you're looking at your grammar book, that's second declension masculine, Christianus. So I'm going to make that my subject. Okay, now I'm looking for a direct object. Ooh, I've got these endings. A, O, A. Okay, so can you tell me which one of those has the direct object ending? Okay, you can look at your grammar book if you don't already know. Ooh, that is definitely my direct object ending. So now I have these other things. So we've got to, now you know et is a conjunction, so that always looks like et. What am I doing with some of these other things? Well, I can make some decisions about these, okay? So I remember in first declension that the ending AE can either be genitive singular, dative singular, or nominative plural, but I already have a subject and there's no et after that subject, so it's not going to be nominative plural. So I could just try some things, okay, but I'm looking at this giving, so I might have an indirect object, okay. Oh, and I have an et here. So this et, keep this kind of thing in mind, is going to combine this word filio and this word Mariae. So they should be in the same case. Okay, so let's check out filio first. So we can just start reciting. Us, e, o, o. Okay, so we have dative or ablative singular. Okay? Remember, we are looking for an indirect object, something in the dative case. So actually we haven't learned the ablative case yet. So I'm going to make that an indirect object. And therefore that et, I'm going to make this an indirect object. Okay? So, and indeed Mariae, that can be in the dative case too. But then I have this Mariae. There's no et there, so it is not also going to be an indirect object. So then I have to, it's not going to be a subject, remember. So what's left for me to make that AE ending? What job could I do that? Right, the genitive case, okay? So, but if you didn't get that when you were marking it, You could try different things and come back to that. But now remember how we're going to translate subject, anything that modifies it, verb, direct object, and anything that modifies it. If we have anything, then indirect object and its modifiers. Now when I'm talking about a modifier, a genitive case is a modifier, an adjective is a modifier, okay? They have to be translated with their nouns. So let's do it this way. So we'll say the Christians, okay, I don't have a modifier because the next word is direct object. The Christians gave, now I want to go to the direct object, the Christians gave glory, okay, no modifier there, indirect object, to Mary and to the Son of Mary. Okay, so let me show you that again. Christians gave Mary, subject, verb, direct object. Christians gave Mary glory, to Mary and to the Son of Mary. Okay, so try to follow this pattern right here. Okay, so let's do one more of these words. Exercise 19 where we're working with indirect objects. I'm just going to do number 10. Okay, so we have Deus, gloriam et victoriam, Christianis, and then dedit. Okay, same kind of verb, only, okay, so we'll start with that. This verb is singular, so we're looking for a singular subject, okay? So I always look at my first word first. It's not always the subject, but Deus is definitely the nominative singular of that word. So I know I have that. Now I'm looking at these. Oh, you notice that et. So the things on either side should be in the same case, okay? So I have and so that's nice because we can tell, we know now those are our direct objects, okay? And then here we have these is, okay? So again, this is second declension masculine, and you know that from the nominative and the genitive. Okay, so us, I, o, I, orum, is. Ooh, I got a dative. So that means I've got an indirect object right there. So I'm going to use the same pattern. God gave glory and victory to the Christians. Okay, so that's how you go about translating with an indirect object. Now today we are going to add prepositional phrases. Okay, so in Latin, okay, we are going to get some prepositions, and you're getting them. Let me find what page. In your textbook, you're getting them on page 25. Okay, so now in Latin, prepositions take either the accusative case or the ablative case. Okay, now these prepositions always look the same, but the object of the preposition, and I'll show you how this works, is either going to be in the accusative case or the ablative case. And in the textbook, it will tell you, in the vocab, it will say propter, preposition with the accusative. So that means propter's object of the preposition will be in the accusative case. So let's just make a little chart. If you're taking notes somewhere, put this in your notes so we can add to it. So propter is an accusative case preposition. The next one is cum. That is an ablative. Okay, ablative, propter, cum. Okay, then post is an accusative. Okay, and then in. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now. In is going to take both these cases, but they introduce it first only with the ablative case. Okay, so for this lesson, we'll just do in with the ablative case. So let me show you with a word we know. We know the word terra. Okay, so let's use propter. Okay, propter means on account of. So if I want to say on account of the land, I would put land in the accusative case. So propter terram. Okay, But now say I want to say I'm going to go in or on. This word means in or on. I'm going to go on the land. Okay, I'm standing on the land or on the earth. We're all standing on the earth, right? Okay. So I'll say in, but in takes the ablative case. So now Tara will need to be in the ablative case. And be careful, because in first declension, the A of the ablative singular has a macron on it, and so you want to put that there. Okay, so these are really, prepositional phrases are not hard at all. So exercise 22 is just going to do bunches of prepositional phrases for you in Obido, in the town, in Silva, in the forest, propter victoriam, on account of the victory. Okay, exercise 23. You're going to use this, okay? And so look at exercise 23, number 1, with Mary. Okay, we'll start with that one. With Mary. So we know with is cum. And then what case am I going to put Mary? Ablative, that's right. So I'm going to say Maria with a macron, okay? And that gives me with Mary. Let's do one more before we move on from prepositions. Let's see. They don't really give us any hard ones. Why don't we do on account of the kingdom? Okay. So on account of is propter. And kingdom, you know the word for kingdom is regnum. Oh, I wonder if this is a new word or not. Regnum, regni. Okay. Now, propter takes the accusative case. So, and this is a neuter noun, so we know the nominative and the accusative are exactly the same. So I can put that right there, on account of the kingdom. Okay? All right, so you got that. Okay, so before we end this lesson on prepositions, I want to talk a little bit about the vocab on page 25, because it's a little bit confusing. What happens here is now all of a sudden you have a place, Gallia, Gallier, and you also have a person that's from that place, okay? And you've got to be able to keep these two things straight. So here's what I want to say. Overall, for the next little bit in this book at least, the places are going to be first declension. So the place will have first declension ending. And remember, in olden days, people, masculine people were definitely predominant and were given preeminence, a more place of importance. And so the people are masculine, okay? So you'll see masculine second declension for the people. So if you wanted to say, you see in Gallia, you know that's going to be, you see that first declension ending, so in Gaul, okay? But if you had in Gaulis, okay, like this, you can, well, this one's, if there was more than one Gaul, let me do this one instead so I don't confuse it. So say you see Gallorum, okay? And you can say orum is masculine plural, second declension. So instead of a Gaul, because it's second declension masculine, it's of the Gauls. And the same pattern is with Roma, Romae, and Romanus, Romani. Okay, so that's some of the new words that you will have in this section. Okay, so I want you to stop the video now, and I want you to work on exercises 22 and exercises 23. And then come back and we'll talk about the predicate nominative. All right, valete.